Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Monday and time to talk some Major League Baseball. New week, new money. But around these parts, we told you on the Friday show, Friday means payday. Smashed it across the board. I'm now 24-10 overall in my play of the day. Right around 71%. Not good enough. Got to get to 80% or better. That's how I roll. Jason, welcome into the show today.
Yeah, this is great. Had a great weekend. Of course, Friday was a lot of fun. Saturday and Sunday, if you guys kept up with me on Twitter and the SBR page, had two winners there as well on Saturday and Sunday. So had a great weekend myself in the MLB. And Kyle will tell you all about his great golf bets over the weekend. He had a blast. He just killed it. So just wanted to shout him out for that.
Oh, and there you go. Kyle picks it up in baseball, exits it in golf bets. That's the way it is, Kyle, right? That's the way it is.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I do hope all you dads out there had a good Father's Day yesterday. And if I look a little wet, if you will, kind of a gross word for this, but I'm like Jim Carrey. I'm like Ace Ventura in that rhino's ass right now. It is hot in here, and I'm ready to talk some baseball. Small card. We got a little bit of a weather situation, that Houston-Baltimore game. But hey, I'm with my boys. We're drinking beer. Cheers, everyone. Let's win some money.
Good vibes out in the chat box. You look at TD Crow out there. Seeing Major League Baseball clearly lately, thanks to you guys. What's going on, my guys from Akbar, Jameek Glover, hey, Donnie, Isaiah. What's up, guys? Welcome into the chat box. Accra, Isaiah, CMC, G&G. All good stuff here in the chat box. As I said, I'm Donnie Seymour's Jason Radowitz, and also with Kyle Purviance. The Major League Baseball team right here at sportsbookreview.com. 86,700 subscribers have hit that subscribe button right here on our YouTube channel at sportsbookreview.com. Thank you guys for all your love and your support. Also, keep in mind there is a baseball giveaway / contest going on at sportsbookreview.com. If you need more details below, sbrpicks.com / MLB. Hit that link. $20,000 in Bitcoin up for grab. No afternoon games, a slower pace Monday, which is some fantastic stuff. There are some pretty good spots that we are going to be able to take a look at. But before we get into that, sometimes we can venture off here. We'll talk Astros Orioles in just a second. Interesting doings here, because as I'm looking right now and in the home run derby contest in the AL, Shohei Ohtani is going to participate. Guess who backs out? Vladimir Jr. So no Guerrero Jr., which would have been a nice little head-to-head. But let me get this straight from last week, guys. We always like to do this little recap. Ohtani hit like 75 home runs last week and dominated on the mound. And he lost about 40 cents in his MVP race to the fourth-place Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which now sits at about plus 110, plus 150 to plus 160 on Ohtani. Jason, just your initial thoughts here. Does Ohtani have to hit 3 home runs every single game and throw a no-hitter yesterday to try to close that gap? What am I missing?
I do think, like, if we're talking about most valuable player, he's obviously more valuable than anybody else on the entire field, the NL and the AL, because he can pitch and also hit, and he's one of the best hitters, and he's also pitching with an ERA below 3. So I do think he's the MVP of the league. Even like if I were to just compare him to the entire league, he's more valuable than Jacob deGrom because, again, he's hitting in the 2-hole, and without Trout right now, he's the main guy with this team. The offense is now catching some fire. And then on top of that, they're pitching. His pitching has been really good compared to everyone else in that staff. So, I think Ohtani is the MVP right now. Of course, Guerrero's done really well as well. But Ohtani, he literally is the most valuable player on any team because he can do it all. So,
yep. You absolutely can. And Kyle, just get your input on this. It was just kind of interesting to me because Ohtani was the leader in the clubhouse for the first 2 months of the season. Yes, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a wonderful player. There's no question about it. But even if you wanted to list them like head-to-head, but the fact that he's increasing his league when Ohtani is raking at the plate and still dominating on the mound was a true head-scratcher for me. Now, I did see that he popped down. The reason why I bring this up because he's no longer going to be in a home run derby. If I see him make a comment of something like it's going to mess up my swing, Has anybody ever been to batting practice at a Major League Baseball park before the game? They put on a show for the crowd. So he doesn't want to do it that night, but yet he'll do it 150 nights a year in other ballparks. Kyle, come on now.
Oh, it just bugs me. It's like the whole LeBron and the dunk contest. Like, come on, man. Get out. Like, what is wrong with you? Get out there and I swear to you, he's going to look back 20 years from now when his career is over and go, man, I really missed an opportunity to have a lot of fun, showcase myself, compete in the if they called me right now, I would absolutely embarrass myself and probably barely get the ball out of the outfield, but I'd get my ass out there in the home run derby. it's the best part of All-Star Weekend is the home run derby, and you're like, yeah, like what? You're too good for the home run derby? You play for the Blue Jays. You guys don't even have a home stadium right now. You're playing in Buffalo, for Christ's sake. You don't want to do something fun and put the lights on your friend. If I'm the owner of the Blue Jays, I'm like, you're going to get your ass out there and hitting this home run derby because we need everything we can get right now. And on the Ohtani front, I mean, how is it even close? Look, there's a ton of great hitters in baseball, but when you have a guy who's a legit number 1 or number 2 guy in your rotation, and he's also, one of the 3 or 4 best hitters in the league, what the hell are we talking about here? I mean, it's done. He could stop today. It's done. He's clearly the most important player on any team. I mean, just think about this. Let's say the Angels, which is not going to happen, but they make the World Series. You get to hit your pitcher in the National League Park in the 2-hole. Who else can do that? Nobody. Ohtani's the MVP. Ridiculous that it's even a discussion, honestly.
Yeah, here's the update here from Hazel May, which is a beat reporter for the Toronto Blue Jays. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has decided not to participate at this year's home run derby. He's looking forward to being at the All-Star game in Colorado, but told me he'd like to use the time to regroup, refresh, and be mentally ready for the second half. Now, here's what it is. Let me ask a question out here. It's rhetorical. I'm going to answer it myself. Who votes on going to the All-Star game? It's the fans. Yeah. So what they should do with Major League Baseball is say, okay, we're going to vote for the home run derby as well. So if the fans put Ohtani in, Judge, Stanton, and they go, you know what, I'm going to sit home run derby, but I want to play in the game. Major League Baseball steps in and goes, nah, you can't have it both ways. You can sit out the All-Star game and also sit out home run derby. But if you get voted in for that, you got to play in both of them. It's another one of those things where baseball players, I always say, the most detached in society. You're not hurting yourself. You're hurting the 13-year-old that loves Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and would have so much fun in that home run derby. There is my hero out there blasting off. And mind you, it's in Colorado, so there will be 550-foot blasts that 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid be like, Dad, did you see Vladimir Guerrero hit that one 550? He'll remember that for the rest of his life. But Vlad wants to clear his mind, which, a.k.a., Kyle, what does that mean? He wants to get blasted a couple nights before the All-Star game. Is that true?
That's exactly right. Yeah, he's just in party mode, and I get it. And someone in the chat box, put respect on the Jays. I like the Blue Jays. I love that lineup. I put a futures bet on them to win that division. My point is...
Hold on, Kyle. Hold on.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, Blue Jays. Wait. Yeah. George Springer's not picking up. Unavailable again, Kyle. So go ahead.
Well, he's got it on silent as he's or he might be, I think what he's out there doing, he's listening to like Creed or something, and he's jogging around, listening to Eyes Wide Open, listening to the worst music possible. So he's just out there running, getting ready. But I actually like the Blue Jays. My point is, they're not a national team. They don't have a huge fan base. So anything you can do to give extra exposure to a team, especially in the scenario they're in this year, where they're not even able to play in their home stadium. They're sort of, the homeless team, if you will. I don't know how it could do anything but help to put some exposure on. You have your best player goes out there, smashes in the home run derby. Everyone's like, hey, I want to watch these Blue Jays games. It's good for the whole organization. So that's my point. I'm not sure why I had to explain that, but there you go. That's how the internet is sometimes.
There it is, boys. Let's get into the Major League Baseball card here on a Monday and kick this week off in style. A short card here, but it's nice. We can go over a couple of these games. I do think there are some advantages. 6:21, obviously today is June 21st. 7:05 starts tonight. Houston and Baltimore. Odorizzi is going to be on the mound for the road team here, the Houston Astros, going up against the Baltimore Orioles. Aiken, the lefty, will be on the mound. It's hot, it's sticky, but yes, it's rainy. But it doesn't feel like the gamblers care about that because, Jason, we opened up at Pinnacle offshore at a 10. We now sit at 10.5. FanDuel, New Jersey opened up at a 10. They now also sit at 10.5. Heavy favorite here for the Astros, between 163 to 170, depending on where you're shopping at. Obviously, you are a market favorite with the Astros, a clearly better lineup. Just the question is, we're gamblers here. Are you going to lay that amount of money, or are you going to try to take an approach with a total or maybe a team total that you're looking at, Jason?
Yeah, now, again, the weather is shaky, obviously, so not the best game to choose from, but, there's no NBA. There's only select few MLB games. We have a doubleheader as well.
Soccer.
So, yeah, there's no soccer there, but I don't think there's any soccer at nighttime. So, at nighttime, you just have baseball now. But, yeah, I mean, the Astros, I do like their matchup versus Keegan Aiken. 5.51 xFIP in the last 30 days, 18.6% strikeouts, and walking 8.6% of the batters. Doesn't get many ground balls, allows some about 40% hard contact. So I like the Astros lineup. I think they're the better team, obviously, offensively. Altuve, Correa, they've been really good against lefties in the last couple of weeks or so. think they continue to keep going. And, so I think the Astros are the better team here. Baltimore, they've been sneaky offensively. Mullins, Mountcastle, Stewart have all had solid power numbers. So that's why I wouldn't just kind of take the Astros and pay that juice for them. I would rather just take the over 5.5 on the team total. But again, it's 5.5. That's a lot. But it is in Baltimore, hitter's ballpark. A lot of home runs leave that yard. If they get the game in, I do think the Astros hit some home runs against Aiken and Baltimore. So if I had to choose, Astros over 5.5 on the team total for this one.
Interesting one. Anticipated lineups here, Kyle, for the Baltimore Orioles going up against Odorizzi. Odorizzi has struggled this year against lefties. If we take a look at just him versus lefties and isolate that, keep in mind he's a right-handed pitcher. 400 weighted on base average, ISO power number of 265. Anticipated lineup tonight for those Baltimore Orioles, lefty in Mullins, lefty in Galvis, lefty in Santander, lefty in Stewart, and lefty in Wilkerson. Is that enough to flip you over to maybe a dog? Are we getting runs in this game? It's hard for me right now to take a look at the Astros and put them into a fade category, because they have everything going on they need. Decent bullpen, decent starting pitching, and a really good 1 through 9 lineup. How are you looking at this game here down at Camden Yards in Baltimore?
Yeah, and some of those lefties you mentioned are actually switch hitters. They hit from both sides of the plate. And actually the only two that actually have a 3-year advantage here, a significant advantage, are Santander and Mullins. Freddie Galvis is actually a little bit better off of lefties, slightly, not much. It's pretty similar. For me, I do agree if this game is a fully played game that the Astros team total would be live, but I don't see any way you can bet a team total in this game if you don't know that the whole game is going to be played. We talk about it all the time. If that game goes past 5 innings, it's an official game, and they call it. So if that weather comes in the 6th inning, and maybe Houston's had a great first 5 innings, they're up 4-1, you're on your way to that team total, and then all of a sudden the game's over because of the weather. You just got burned and you lost your team total bet. So for me, the only way I would bet this game is, first of all, it's the Astros. If you look at Odorizzi's last 5 starts against Baltimore, 43 fantasy points or more in 4 out of his last 5 starts. The Houston lineup absolutely profiles better. I'm looking at Houston in the first 5 minus 0.5 at minus 105. That would be where I go. Obviously, Aiken, not a very good pitcher. Houston should be able to rake. The lineup's better. For me, it's Astros first 5 minus 0.5 at minus 105. And I'll put it on the value menu. But again, keep an eye on this game. I wouldn't start throwing a ton of money at it right now because we're not exactly sure if it's going to be played.
All right, next game we're going to talk about here, 9-11, 9-12. That is the Oakland Athletics and the Texas Rangers. Montas versus Gibson on the mound today, both righties. This will be down in Texas, but as I'm looking right now, we don't have an official word yet, but it looks like signs are pointing that the roof is going to be closed, which is going to be a theme, because that's also the theme that we're going to talk about later tonight with the Arizona Diamondbacks out in the desert. But if we take a look at both of these teams here, minus 125s, minus 26, 27s, not a heavy favorite here for Oakland heading to town. That's because Kyle Gibson's been a pretty good pitcher this year. And also offshore, Jason, 8.5. We open up at Pinnacle. That's now down to 8. And it's 8 primarily across the board, all the way across. Better team, better lineup. Maybe the Oakland Athletics, obviously tied for first place with the Houston Astros. But you're getting a sneaky team in here with Gibson on the mound with Texas. Is that enough to take that short dog?
And that's why I moved from 8.5 to 8. Gibson, he's allowed 3 earned runs or less in 11 straight starts. Yeah. Montes allowed 3 earned runs or less in every game but 1 in his last 9 starts. So both of these guys are basically giving you quality outings every single time they're out there. And that's exactly why the numbers went down from 8.5 to 8. But I'm looking more towards the Athletics around that minus 125 range on the money line. I think the Athletics can at least get to that bullpen of the Rangers towards the end of the game. So when you're getting a much better team like the Athletics against the Rangers, and you're getting such a short line at around minus 120, minus 125 range, I think the Athletics are the play here. I would not go first 5, though. I'd go full game, go with the Athletics to get some runs late in the game, let them shut down the Rangers, who are just an awful offense. Nick Solak, I mean, I've never seen a guy struggle so much when he was supposed to be the one guy that was supposed to produce for that lineup. Yeah, the Athletics, I think, minus 125 range on the money line in the full game would be my best bet in this game, but it's not official, of course.
Take a look at these mirror images, Kyle, just based on this year versus the pitcher matchups to righties between both of these ball clubs. You have Canal, Laureano, and Olsen. All 3 ISO power numbers elevated, decent weighted on base averages. And then starting in the 4-hole with Mitch Moreland, you have nothing the rest of the way. But then you flip it over to Texas. Connor Falefa, decent weighted on base average this year. Nate Lowe, decent. Garcia decent, and the rest of the way with power numbers like Joey Gallo 121, you don't get much power in this game outside of the top 3. So there is a good reason, as Jason pointed out, that goes from 8.5 back down to 8. And I agree with the under in this spot. Usually hard for me to do so, particularly with a Texas. Their lineup can be sneaky good, but also their bullpen usually gives it up. It's hard for me to go under 8, but I got to say I'm leaning towards going 8 here.
Yeah, and someone asked, nerfy spot? This could be a nerfy spot, and I got to say this. There's a couple of hitters here for Oakland who have really smashed Gibson in their career. When you look at Ramon Laureano, 9 for 16 lifetime, 4 singles, 2 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. Then you get to Matt Olson. People like to ask about the home run prop. There you go. Matt Olson right now. 7 for 14 lifetime off of Gibson. 7 of those hits, out of those 7 hits, 3 of them went for a home run. So we talk about, hey, the A's obviously an exponentially better team than Texas. I'm looking for plus money spots here. I get the A's minus 0.5 at plus 110 in the first 5 innings. I think there's value there. Montas and Gibson, pretty similar in my opinion. They've both been pretty solid this year. With each of them had a little hiccup. I think, 3 starts ago, Montas got rocked a little bit. And if you look at Gibson, it was, 4 starts ago. So they both can be shaky, but they've been pretty solid. I do think it's a solid nerfy spot. I like the Matt Olson home run prop, and I'm going to take that plus money on the better team here and take the A's minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus 110. I think that's going to be my official play of the day on this short card.
Oh, I like to see it there. And by the way, a lot of guys in the chat box here shouting it out up there for Texas, maybe a little under action. Well, I mean, haven't we taught you guys better that over is the pathway to victory? I'm kidding. There are some good spots here to look at unders. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. I'm going to take the A's minus 0.5 first 5, and I love it. Hey, I don't blame you. It's iffy. We got 6 games. 6 games we really focus on. We have that doubleheader with the Mets. I don't know. It's just when you get plus money on a team that's so much better than the other team, don't you take your chance? That's just good betting habits, in my opinion. You're going to win some of those. You're going to lose some of those. Plus money on the A's. Give me a break. Yeah, I'll take it. Minus 0.5 in the first 5, plus 110. Let's go.
Kyle versus the chat box will be settled a little bit later on this evening here as they are going to back Texas and fade Kyle at this point. But I'll tell you right now, this might be a late night game, but it's probably the best one on the card. 9:07, 9:08, 10:10 tonight, East Coast first pitch, 7:10 out west. Urias, the lefty, Urias, however you want to pronounce it, it's certainly fine with me going up against you, Darvish. How about the favorite? How about the Dodgers not being a favorite tonight? Minus 121s, minus 130s across the board, over under at 7. And I have to tell you, I look at both of these lineups. We'll see if Fernando Tatis is going to be in the lineup for the San Diego Padres. But I don't care if you have a combination that was made in a lab with Steve Carlton, Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Roger Clemens, all in their prime, and then mix around a little bit of, Clayton Kershaw back in the day a couple years ago, and Jacob deGrom. If there's a 2.5 on the Dodgers team total, I don't care if they don't even have bats in their hands at the plate. If they go up just with their hands, they should be able to get 3 runs. It's an interesting one to take a look at, but there is a reason, Jason, why San Diego's favored in this game.
Yeah, it's because Darvish is on the mound and not Urias. But, look, the Padres, they've been awful against lefties as of late. And, even if Tatis does play, he's hitting in his last 20 plate appearances against lefties, .059, ISO, .173 weighted OBA, striking out 40% of the time against lefties. So he's not really been that much of a factor anyway. So it might be better for him not to be in the lineup against Urias. But really, it's just Pham, Machado, and maybe Caratini are the 3 guys in the lineup that can do some kind of damage against the lefty. So I think there's value on the Dodgers. Obviously, the first time being underdog since 2018 or whatever, which Crazy. Is just absurd. But yeah, I mean, Darvish has not looked his best recently. 4.88 xFIP. He's allowed now 2 or more runs, I think, in his last 4 starts. So I think the Dodgers are able to get some runs early versus Darvish, and I think that they find a way. So I think Dodgers plus 105 is the play. I like the under 3.5 in the first 5. I don't think the Padres score a single run in the first 5 innings. And I think maybe the Dodgers score 1 or 2, if they get lucky against Darvish. But I can't recommend taking an under for the full game because we've already seen how many times these games have been going to extra innings. We've seen some crazy outcomes, some crazy finishes, and I'm not trying to bet on that. I bet against those types of games, and that will definitely happen with the Padres and Dodgers. So if you're gonna bet the under, limit that to first 5. If you're gonna bet a team, go with the Dodgers. I think in the first 5 or the full game, I think they can hold on and win this game.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that aspect of it. It should be a good one because you're taking a look at 3 teams in the NL West vying, but it really looks like, if the Dodgers can continue to separate from the Padres, San Francisco is for real. I don't know where it came up with San Francisco as one of the best home run hitting teams in the NL, but here we are at this moment. I mean, we've talked about them changing some of the dynamics of the ballpark, which allows them some of those wind tunnels to hit it out because it's usually the San Francisco Giants mucking and grinding for 3 or 4 runs, and here they are just bashing the hell out of teams at home. So that NL West now with a for real opponent between the Dodgers and the San Diego Padres now get the Giants as that third horse here, which maybe at the beginning of the season was like, why are they even trying out here? It's a 2-horse race. Now it's a 3-horse race and maybe a 2-horse race with the Padres out, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. And look, we just talked about it before. Good betting habits, right? Okay, so the Dodgers are underdogs because, yes, Darvish is a better pitcher than Urias is. But we're talking about the Dodgers versus a right-handed pitcher. They always profile better against anyone they're playing versus a righty. Jason touched on it beautifully. The Padres absolutely stink against lefties. So I'm getting plus money on the Dodgers, a 2.5 team total. Put it on the value menu? Arby's has the meats. I want those meats today. I saw that damn commercial. I can't wait to order that thing. You know what's going to pay for it tonight? It's going to be the Dodgers full game at plus money. I'm taking the Dodgers here. Now I will say Darvish in his last 3 starts against the Dodgers has been very, very good. 55, 49, and 52. Very, very solid. Urias against the Padres, not so much. 32, 6, 5, 13, and 9 in his last 5. Against the Padres, but those lefties are going to be completely insignificant. We mentioned Tatis, maybe he is, maybe he isn't in the lineup. He hasn't been good against lefties. Right now, I trust the Dodgers against righties better than I do the Padres against lefties, and I'm getting plus money on basically the best team in baseball. It's called good betting habits, folks. Yes, Darvish has the higher pedigree. Yes, it looks like the Padres should get it done. But when you're getting plus money on the best team in baseball, you take the damn plus money. Give me the Padres. Let's throw it on the value menu. Or excuse me.
There you go. Value menu wagers, as you like to say, Kyle, coming up right now. We'll see if we can pick up some of those fast food, whether it's Arby's that you want. I don't know if I've been to Arby's since 1989, but Arby's is still a valuable option out here on that menu. Wendy's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, whatever you need, we got working for you. So I'm going to take a look at 2 games today, and I hate to disappoint. I will not have a best bet in the banker because tomorrow I'm going to get to some of these names on the mound tomorrow. And we will be in action on Tuesday and ready to let it rip. But tonight, 2 games I'm digging on. First one I'm going to go with, just talked about it, the Dodgers. I don't care. I'll pay a little bit of money, the minus 150. The Dodgers team total is 2.5. If the Dodgers end up with 1 run or none, I'll tip my cap and move on. But if the Dodgers get 3 runs, I cash a ticket in this environment. Maybe Darvish struggles a little bit and goes 6 innings and gives up 2 earned runs, where they have the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning to get 1 more run with maybe a chance at extra innings where both of these pitchers perform well. 2-2 heads to extra innings. That's going to be cashing a ticket. The second one is probably a popular one here around the channels today and also in the chat box. That's going to be the Cincinnati Reds 4.5 minus 115. They should be able to get the 5 runs in that game, no question in my mind. I'm going with those 2 as my value menu wagers. Jason, take it away. What you looking at firing on that fast food today?
Well, I just want to bring up those who want to bet the Mets game, the first game. It's going to be Mueller. Mueller is going to be game 1, and then Anderson will be game 2. So Mueller against DeGrom in the first game.
What's that number look like?
We'll get on that. We'll get on with that game in a second, though. But
minus 999.
Yeah, I'm sure the over/under just changed a little bit there, but that's what we're seeing there. But yeah, I like the Dodgers too. I agree with those. I'll go different place than those guys. I'll go the Astros over 5.5 on the team total against Keegan Aiken. I like that play. I don't think that they're going to really play the game. That's why it's a value play, and it's also it's a lot of runs that they'll need. But they're in Baltimore. They just need some power, and I think they'll have that there. So Astros over 5.5 on the team total is a value play for me.
Good friend Nutflush Allen there that says, most of you don't know this, but Donnie loves to use coupons at Arby's. Damn it, you outed me there. I was just trying to rip them, and, I'm there each and every day here, but it is what it is. Yeah. What do you got, Kyle? Firing for fast food value. Where is the value today?
I'm going to take that Dodgers plus money, and I see in the chat someone says the Dodgers have no chance to win. It's 100% going to be the Padres, and that is like the silliest thing I've ever heard. You're telling me if these 2 teams in these exact same scenarios played 100 times, that the Padres would win 100 times, because that's how you work these things out. So again, you're getting plus money on the best team in baseball. I'll take that plus money on the Dodgers on the value menu. And one more, I know you guys are going to touch on this a little bit, but that Reds team total over 4.5. J.A. Happ is, quite possibly. We used to say it was Tariq Skubal, and it could be Aiken here for Baltimore.
It's on the mound tomorrow.
But I'll tell you what, J.A. Happ is probably the worst left-handed pitcher in baseball in, the last 5 years. I mean, he is absolutely atrocious. So I'm going to take that Reds team total over 4.5 at minus, it just moved to 5 here, so you're probably getting it at minus 140 now, over 4.5, something like that. I also like the home run prop for Nick Castellanos. We talked about that a little bit earlier, how good he has been off of J.A. Happ, 12 of 22, and Matt Olson home run prop as well, the 3 home runs and 7 hits off of, damn it, I forgot who was pitching already, but the righty that they're facing, he's hit 3 home runs off him, and I will take that as well. So we'll go Dodgers, we'll go the Reds team total, couple home run props, Castellanos, and also Matt Olson.
Blastianos, over 350 people watching on a Monday, relaxing. Got no NBA on Monday, no NBA on Tuesday. We'll have to carry it over here because I know the guys are doing a pretty good job with the soccer shows here today, and we will certainly continue that with Major League Baseball tonight. But let's get to some best bets and bankers on the Major League card. As I said again, 24-10 on the season. I'm going to skip today with my best bet and banker, but I do have those value menu wagers I'll certainly be picking on tonight. You look tomorrow, Ober's on the mound. If we slide it down, you got a lefty going up against the White Sox, and it's a lefty by the name of Tim Anderson. And then you keep I believe it's Trevor Anderson. Is it Tim or Trevor Anderson? Who is that? Which Anderson is that? Anybody know? See, doesn't even matter. That's how bad he is.
John Anderson.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's like the U.S. Open coverage. Did you notice like U.S. Open? I tried to watch some of that. They're like, you always know when they go to like, this is Robert, Ronson from Georgia, and you never heard of him. They're like, well, he's gonna make he's 13 over par, and like, okay, this stupid shot's going in. What a waste of damn time. That's what that is. That's what that reminds me of.
Well, certainly. I'll be back in action tomorrow. Faux show, as they like to say. But tonight, Jason, what are you digging on? Best bet and banker for you.
Yep, I got an official play. I'm on the Reds over 4.5 on the team total. I got that at minus 108 via FanDuel. Now I'm seeing around minus 115 on MGM. So it's still, fine value there for the Reds over 4.5. They're going up against J.A. Happ. He's had an xFIP of 5.63 in his last 30 days, striking out 20.2% of batters. The Reds, they have an ISO of 273 in the last 30 days, a weighted OBA of 375 in the last 30 days. They're striking out just 18% of the time, and also walking nearly 9% of the time. But let me go and read you guys off the last 8 starts that Happ has had. In the last 8 starts for Happ, he's allowed, if I could find this real quickly.
Just make it up because it's high. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
And it's so hot in the studio. Who cares? He's giving up like 75 home runs.
All right, I got it. So we got 10 runs, 5 runs, 6 runs, 5 runs, 16, 13, and 6 for the opposition in Happ starts. So the last 8 starts, they've allowed 5 or more runs in every single start for Happ. So I do like this play. We already see the Reds lineups out, and looks like Winker is in the lineup. He'll be the DH. Aquino back in the lineup from an injury. A big power bat that can absolutely smoke lefties. He'll be in there as well. Votto has really good numbers. Castellanos has really good numbers. It's just an all-around really great lineup. They'll be the road team, so they get 9 innings to get those 5 runs. And again, J. Happ has not looked really good. 391 weighted OBA to righties and a 301 ISO to righties. So there will also be 7 righties in the lineup. And on top of that, they are on the road, so they're going to have a DH like Winker, like I said earlier. So no worrying about a pitcher hitting as well for this team total over.
No, certainly not. By the way, in the chat box, Christian does bring up a good point here. If you're looking at that Minnesota game versus Cincinnati Reds, Molly has been very good away from home. Yeah. Because the first thing I looked for is, of course, I was looking towards Cincinnati because you're trying to fade Happ. But I'm saying, wait a second, before looking at the pitching matchups, that is a really good lineup in for Minnesota tonight. Yeah. Cooler temperatures, 65 at first pitch, but the wind's blowing out. If anybody other than Maley was on the mound, I probably would have taken a flyer on that Minnesota Twins lineup. But very astute point out there because he does have it. Go ahead, Jason.
And also, just want to point out, Happ, he has 3 losses on the year with a 6.12 ERA. So the Twins, they're hitting the ball when Happ is pitching as well. So just keep that in mind. It's possible that the Twins could score some runs too. Obviously, I like the Red side more, but I do think the Twins will be able to kind of keep up. And I like the over for the full game as well. Because again, Happ, 3 losses in all of his starts with a 6.12 ERA. Kind of hard to have just 3 losses with a 6.12 ERA through 12 starts on the season.
Hey, there you go, Kyle. Best bets and bankers. What you got tonight?
I'm going to go to that plus money for the A's. I just think they get it done in the first 5 innings. I like that plus money, minus 0.5 in the first 5. Is it a little bit dicey? The pitching matchup's pretty equal. Yeah, I just like that lineup so much. I do think Olsen comes out there and gets it done. He just profiles it's the top of the order. I mean, you guys talked about it beautifully. It's going to have to be that top of the order, the Olsens, the Laureanos. Jed Lowry's been very good, actually, 4 of 12 lifetime, including a home run, a triple. All 4 of his base hits, as a matter of fact, in 12 at-bats off of Gibson. All 4 of them have been for extra bases. So I just like the top of that. Canhas struggles. He's 0 for 11 lifetime. But I think that top of the order can get it done early in this game. I'll take that plus money. Braves minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus 110. That's my official play of the day. And also the prop of the day, we can make it official. I took Castellanos at least 2 hits, runs, and RBIs combined. We talked about his history against Happ, 12 of 22 lifetime. Absolutely smashes him. 1 home run, 1 triple, 2 doubles, 8 singles. I think he gets to that. It's at minus 149, but I think you can lock that in as well.
All right, there we go. Let's get to the odds lightning round here and clear out this board, have some fun, talk about some of the rest of these games, see if there's any value. 901, 902, doubleheader. You know me. I don't find any value in doubleheaders, but I am interested in this one because Jacob deGrom is going to be back on the mound, and I don't know if it's Munchausen's disease from somebody where he is just injured every game, and it looks like it's going to be a death spiral he'll never pitch again to. Hey, guys, I feel really good. I'm fine. And it sends the Mets media and fans into a panic. But deGrom sits now anywhere between 230 to 240 across the board as a favorite, 4.5 across the board. Keep in mind, this is a doubleheader, so only 7 innings. Now, normal deGrom, Jason, I would say in this regard, he would go all 7 innings, give up no runs, and why the hell would you even look at Atlanta? But I'm interested to see this deGrom start. Are we maybe looking at 3rd inning, full panic mode again for the Mets and their fans?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is the injuries that he's getting aren't lingering. It's just been a different something here, different something there. So it's not the same, same injury every single time. So I'm hoping he's able to go at least 5 innings. I wouldn't expect anything more. But then again, like you're gonna have Jared Eichhoff in that second game pitching, and who knows what you'll get out of him. He hasn't pitched in the MLB, since coronavirus began. So. We'll see what happens. I think that they'd like to get deGrom to go 5 innings, even if he has no hitter. I don't think he goes 6 or 7. So you got to be careful with that. And if you're going to be betting that first game, it's deGrom versus Kyle Muller, like we were talking about, and then Ian Anderson goes against Eichhoff. I think it's just the way of the Braves trying to win 1 game. They're just saying, all right, let's concede the first game against deGrom, and then we'll play Anderson against Eichhoff in that second game, and let's go and win that game. So I think it's just the Mets game 1, and it goes the Braves game 2. I think that's how it'll play out. I think that's what the Braves are expecting in the first place, putting Anderson not against deGrom and saying, we'll just concede that, and we'll just go with game 2 against Eichhoff with Anderson.
Yeah, you're almost saying this stuff like, hey, let's just get this one out of the way and try to salvage the second game because of what's sort of an uphill climb that you certainly have. Let's get to the next game here. Cleveland versus the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley. And if you're shocked by that 7 across the board as a total, don't be. Anytime that wind's blowing in at 10 degrees or more, those numbers tend to be under 8. So today, Savali versus Alzolay, 150 to 155, depending where you're shopping at here, Kyle. And as I said, a 7 across the board. Always when I look at it, Chicago looks like they have the better 1-3 lineup overall, but we'll see what we have. Alzolay's been very good at home. Savali, not a bad pitcher either. 4.35 xBIF, which is a little bit high, but he does have some pretty good numbers weighted on base average to both lefties and righties combined. 302 to lefties, 260 to righties. Any thoughts on this game between the Cubs and the Indians, Kyle?
Well, I'll say for my money, it's a complete stay away. This game is real 50-50 for me. Both lineups profile really equally. That's right. Take your shots out there. I got to say, I love in the chat box when guys come in and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're right. We get to talk sports. We get paid for it because we don't know a damn thing and you're the expert. I can't wait to watch your show. Just get the hell out of here. Anyway. So moving on, Cleveland and Chicago here. It's very even for me. I would lean slightly, like ever so slightly to the Cubs here. You can get a minus 0.5 at minus 105 if you want to do that in the first 5 innings. It's a tough one for me. I think you could have another sneaky nerfy spot here as well with those 2 pitchers. They should be able to get out of the first inning. But I'll lean slightly to the Cubs. But for me, there's just better spots on the card, and it's too 50-50 for me to trust anything here.
Eichhoff and Anderson here in the second game. Jason, we'll talk about 9:03, 9:04 in that doubleheader between the Braves and the New York Mets. No lines up across the board, and obviously on the FanDuel Sportsbook as well, somebody brought up that the lines are suspended. It's because they're switching around the pitching changes, so once those open back up, we'll have a better feel. But it's always the tough one in the second game, because let's just say the Mets do well and win that. Are they going to have a full-go lineup? Typically you would, though, because if it's, let's just say, the Braves versus the Reds or the Mets versus the Giants, it's not interdivision. These games mean a lot more at this point right now. So early thoughts here on maybe what we're looking at between Atlanta and New York, even though pitching matchups just coming out, no real odds that we can actually take a look at.
Yeah, I like Anderson in this spot. I think he'll be just fine in the second game. I think the Mets will struggle offensively probably this entire day. But I'm sure they'll score a couple runs against the Rays in the first game. But like I always say, Anderson, if he's able to limit the walks, he really is an ace pitcher. He's really good. He's had some bad outings, before, but he's a good pitcher if he can limit the walks. And looks like Tomas Nido is going to be catching that first game, so you will have McCann in there for the second game. That's a solid bat to have in the lineup against Anderson. He's been a little bit better, but I don't think it's enough, obviously. So, again, we would all recommend staying away from these doubleheaders, especially, these types of games where it just seems like one of the pitchers is way more dominant than the other. So, with that, you'll likely get, value, really no value on those, favorites for those teams. So, yeah, I would stay away, but I do think Anderson's the better pitcher, and the Braves probably win game 2.
Talked about Cincinnati, Minnesota a little bit here, but let's get to this game out in the desert at 9:40 tonight. Milwaukee and Arizona. Anderson, the lefty, on the mound versus Kelly. Two pitchers that aren't great, so theoretically we should get some runs, and that is why we're seeing 9.5s across the board. A favorite, depending on where you're shopping at, 114 to 125, but roughly a pick 'em here across the board as we take a look. Now, on the odd service, I use a couple odd service. One of them says the roof is going to be open, but if you go to the Diamondbacks official website, they have it closed the next 3 nights, 110 at first pitch tonight out in the desert. So maybe they open it up later, but it looks like it's designed to be closed, at least according to the official account for the D-backs. I'm going to go to you on this one, Kyle. Anderson versus Kelly. Two lineups here that present themselves well against each other. But again, it's like, hey, does Arizona have a chance to win? I don't know, but I'm not betting on them to.
I got to tell you, this is for my stepson out in the chat box, old Jimmy out there. This is from stepdaddy to stepson. I'm taking the Diamondbacks as an underdog here. They profile absolutely beautifully in this game. When you look at this lineup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their 8 projected batters tonight have advantages of 13% or more over the last 3. Now, look, the Diamondbacks are a scary team. How many times have we talked about it? How many times has Jason been burned by the Diamondbacks? But I'm telling you, they're a live dog here. There's way worse underdog spots you could take today than Arizona. I'm going to take a stab at the Diamondbacks here. And I actually don't even mind a little home run prop on Eduardo Escobar. 4-7 in his career. Is yet to homer off of Anderson, but profiles really nicely as well. So I will take the underdog spot here and take a stab on the Diamondbacks.
There you go. It's covering the baseball card today. Nice short card tomorrow. A lot more presenting options, as I like to say, as we've got a full card getting after it tomorrow. But a decent little card here. And again, that 10-10 matchup, if you're up late, hint, hint, I will not be. So hopefully somebody can tell me about this in the morning. We could talk it through and see what actually happened. But I will be betting a slightly lower amount there on the Dodgers team total, -150 over the 2.5. But let's clear the bases and go over exactly what we had today and what we look forward to tonight. I'll start with first. I don't have a best bet and banker on the board, but the two plays I'm going to bet tonight. Actually, I shouldn't say going to bet. I have bet today already. Both at MGM, 4.5 -115 on the Reds, and 2.5 at -150 on the Dodgers. Jason, what do you got today? Value and also bets, and bankers.
Yeah, I'm just loving reading this chat today. Everyone's out there. There's no NBA, so we got a lot of people watching, and we thank you guys for watching us, and we really appreciate it and hope that we have a great week and you guys could cash some tickets with us. But with value play, I'm on the Astros over 5.5 on the team total at -120. Again, we're not so sure that game will be played, so that's why it's more towards the value. I wouldn't put much on it. It's just a little sprinkle there. Have some fun for that kind of game. Do think the Astros profile well. Think they can score some runs. But my official play will be the Reds over 4.5 on the team total. Again, the Twins in half starts. They've allowed 5 or more runs in every single game in the last 8 games that they've played. And the Reds, they profile really well. Lots of power, lots of on-base percentage, they don't strike out too often, and they are walking 9% of the time. So I do think that we'll see the Reds knock around Hap a little bit, and that should be lots of fun for us to cash that ticket early in this game.
Got it. Kyle, what you got tonight? Value and best bets.
Let's go. I'm going to take that Reds team total, put that right on my value menu. I would have made it my official play, but it's just lame if we both take the same one. So
it is.
Love the Reds, doubling down on that. I'm going to use that to buy some. I'm also going to put the Dodgers full game at plus 115, or I'm looking at plus 113 now. Full game. Look, I'm best team in baseball, underdogs against a righty. Dodgers smash righties. I will take it. Also, the Castellanos, at least 2 hits, runs, RBIs combined at minus 149. The Matt Olson home run prop I also like as well. And my play of the day, of course, that's some plus money here. A's minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus 110. I think they get that done tonight as well.
Yeah, Arca says, Donnie, going to walk the dog or go fishing if the Dodgers game ends 1-0. No, like back in my other life before I had, things to do at night, my dog would get walked like 10 miles a night because I'm a manic idiot when I'm betting baseball games. Next inning, I need a rally. So I got to go walk the dog for a mile and a half, come back and, get the buzzing on my watch to see if somebody scored. But now I barely make it up the steps at around 10:10, let alone walk the dog around the block. So it is what it is, but it's nice. I'll wake up to have more money. Maybe I won't, maybe I will. But the best part about it is I won't have to stress it because I will be fast asleep by the time that game ends on the West Coast. But thank you guys for tuning in today on a Monday with us at sportsbookreview.com, going over some Major League Baseball. Tomorrow's card looks juicy as always, and we will be back same time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, to hit that entire card, best bets, bankers, and everything. Thank you guys for tuning in to the chat box. Appreciate it. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are sportsbookreview.com. This was your Monday baseball show. Good luck on those wagers tonight.